evening, and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle since 2011. We're coming live, and guess what? We've got a full house for a full show for you tonight. Starting with Aguna, the voice of reason.
Always.
Steven, the independent thinker. I'm sorry, got you mixed up with Keith. Steven, the constitutional conservative.
Well, we look alike. We all look alike.
Steven, the independent thinker. Sorry about that, Steven.
No, that's all good, man. At least it wasn't Todd.
And my cousin Todd. We've got a packed show for you tonight. Trump's European tariffs threat over Greenland receives talk of Sell America trade. That's the talk. Sell America trade. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Sell America. According to Reuters, the World Economic Forum is taking place this week in Davos, Switzerland, and President Trump will be there tomorrow, according to CNN, as President Trump criticizes and says great stupidity of United Kingdom. And he also shares a text he received from France's President Macron day before the Davos meetings. On a personal note, I am so thrilled and happy to say that the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers, got the brakes beaten off of them by the Seattle Seahawks. That's what they deserve since they played the Eagles like they did my team.
Preach.
They will not play. The San Francisco 49ers will not play in the Super Bowl in their own stadium in 2026. Doesn't that just make you warm and fuzzy inside like it does me?
Not as much as it does you, Stacy.
I know.
But that's good.
President Trump is ready to send troops to Minneapolis. The NFL is poised for a NFC and AFC championships. We'll ask Todd what the difference is. NATO sends military troops to Greenland to defend Greenland in anticipation of the U.S. taking the island. The Indiana Hoosiers win their first national championship. President Trump, he's always doing something. Let's go on the federal chair, Jerome Powell. He's planning to attend the oral arguments for the Federal Reserve, what's her name? What do they call that? Cook. And they're gonna have arguments with the Supreme Court tomorrow about Trump firing her. Tariff threats hit tech stocks like NVIDIA very hard today. And Jack Smith testifies publicly Thursday and on Capitol Hill. That and more, if we can fit it in. First up, football. I want to share my screen. I want you to take a look at this fabulous play by Seahawks Rashid. Here we go.
And here we go. It's Rashid Shaheed. With the seam, Shaheed breaks through. Still going. A flag flies. Shaheed's going to take it all the way. Let's see if it stands. It's a 95-yard return if it holds to start the game.
The result of the play is a touchdown. Personal foul, trippy, number 18.
Hunter.
Shaheed just right through the heart of the kickoff coverage. That was trying to make the tackle on the penalty on the trip on the kicker. No way to slow him down. What a trade to bring him in at the trade deadline. All-pro returner this year, and he shows you why. He's had this breakaway speed since he came into the league, and when you don't slow his feet, and he could hit a crease like that, no way to slow him down. You got Pinheiro trying to get him down.
Didn't work, Pinheiro. Pinero, it didn't work. Ah, ha, 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 ha. Todd, do you want to give us a brief synopsis of what we just saw there?
Don't hold your breath. This is going to be. Go ahead, Todd.
Excuse me, if you could shut up. What happened was, like I say, when those boys lace up and take the ice, it's no stopping them. And so what happened was this guy, Rashida, whatever the name, once they hit that fly ball and he caught it, he took it in for a home run. America first.
All right. Now, for real people, Stephen or Aguna, do you want to talk about the NFL for real?
Go ahead.
I know you're feeling kind of cute, Ty, because you got your turban on and your beard permed up. But yeah, let's get back to the basics. So yeah, I'm so happy that the 49ers lost, right? But I'm also disappointed because we should have beat the brakes off these guys. These guys were bums, right? And I know there was a lot of controversy last week because the refs, and then we still had a chance at the end, and they ran the worst play they could at 4th and 11. But that being said, this shows me that the NFL was just tired of the 49ers. They wanted them. They were a useful idiot in this sense of, they were going to go and lose anyway, but they had to make it close against the Eagles because, again, it was the wild card round and they wanted ratings. So the Seattle Seahawks really exposed them for who they were. And starting off with that special teams play, it just went downhill from there. I mean, they really were banged up. I mean, of course, when we say we're banged up, they say it's excuses, but they didn't have Kittle. They didn't have Ayuk. They didn't have a lot of people on the offensive side and the defensive side with Greenlaw or Kinlaw, whatever. I think there were a couple of guys, they were missing Bosa. So they weren't 100%, but at the same time, they were going into, make no mistake, the 49ers were going into this game believing that they had hope. I mean, especially their fans. Their fans thought they were a team of destiny and that they would go up to Seattle and somehow pull this off. I even think the line, I don't know what the line was, Stephen, but I think it was like
7.5. It was 7.5 and it went down to 7. Yeah, it went down to 7.
Vegas knew what was up. Vegas knew what was up in this game. And taking the 49ers and the points, they still got the brakes beat off of them. And I'm happy. I'm glad that they're gone. 49ers only wanted to beat us. They didn't even care that they didn't go to the Super Bowl. Their Super Bowl was playing. That's why I hate 49ers and their fans. And they're like the Red Cowboys. They just got to have these moral victories that don't mean anything.
No, I don't go along with that, Aguna. I don't go along with that. They just wanted to beat y'all, and they don't want to go to the Super Bowl. That sounds like a Philly fan.
That's all I was hearing from them.
They wanted to beat y'all, but they wanted to beat Seattle too. Well, what it shows you is the Eagles just at this time of the year, they're not ready right now. They weren't ready to advance. I don't think if they couldn't beat Frisco and Frisco played that poorly, they weren't ready to play the next game. And God knows what Seattle would have done to them. They may have put a couple of them out of football for forever.
Our offensive play calling was horrible, right?
Yeah,
because we couldn't do anything against the 49ers. And they ran a defense against us, and you saw what happened. Yeah. Sam Darnold just picked them apart. They had nothing. You couldn't stop them. Right?
But that was Sam Darnold that picked them apart. That's awful.
Exactly. So we'll see. Well, we're going to see in the championship.
So let's look at
Aguna to say they didn't want to go to the Super Bowl. That is crazy.
He was exaggerating a little bit.
You know what the Super Bowl is, Todd? And I'm not talking about a Chipotle Bowl. I'm talking about the Super Bowl.
Who wouldn't want to win a World Series? Come on.
Good job, Todd. Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd.
So, yeah, thanks, Todd. Yeah, everyone says thanks, Todd. Thanks for nothing, Todd. So let's look at the NFC, Todd. I asked if you knew the difference between the NFC and the AFC, and particularly if you look at this screen right here, you can see where we are in the playoffs towards the Super Bowl. Cousin Todd, do you want to explain where we are?
Yeah. ABC is a network that has been around for a long time.
What the hell are you eating, Todd?
He's chewing the cud. He's chewing the cud.
Look. What are you on, Todd?
Let me start with Steven. Steven, go ahead and bracket for us, please.
I got caught up in the cut. What am I looking at again, Stacy, that I don't see?
The playoff brackets for the NFL. Playoff brackets for the NFL.
Okay, yeah, I can't see it, but I pretty much know what's going on.
Oh my gosh!
And what's the question to this? Are we talking about the Chicago game next?
No,
one is the ACLU, and the other one is.
I'm really looking for some help from her, not you, Todd. Thank you.
Okay.
So basically, what I want you just to talk about is the NFC and the AFC championships and who is playing in those games.
Okay. So yeah, we have the Rams going to Seattle. That's a 2.5 point game, 47.5 over under. I don't think the Rams have much of a chance, but you never know. They do have a great offense, but they're going against an awesome defense. And they were my defense this year for fantasy, so I know how great they are. But I put it on, championships are won by defenses and running backs. The only thing that's hurting Seattle now is they've lost one of their running backs, Shebedeau or whatever his name is. But they lost him for this game. And that's Shebedeau. They lost. That's going to hurt them a little bit on offense. So it might be a little bit closer game. But I think you got to give it to Seattle. I think it's going to be a great game. And I guess the next one is really hard. If they hadn't have taken the game away from the Bills and let them win, this would have been a great game between the Bills and New England. It would have been awesome. It would have been epic. But Bo Nix, who
between the Bills and the Patriots. So
I don't know, but it'd been a better game because they have a quarterback that's hadn't only played but 3 games. You know what I mean? It would have been a better game to have Allen in it. Allen can make a game out of any game he's in, but this Stidham guy for Denver has only played like 3 games, never been in a big game. And you want to talk about a slaughter. Now it's going to be more of a slaughter than if it was Buffalo. It was going to be a better game if it was Buffalo.
Before you go further, let me play this, please.
Yes, ma'am.
What happened? Because Todd doesn't know what happened with Denver.
I want to know what an ankle injury like this means for recovery. So joining me now is Dr. Landon Fine from Advent Health in Parker. So obviously this was shocking. Were you watching the game?
I was, yeah.
Okay, so you're probably, as an orthopedic trauma surgeon, you're thinking, what's going on here? So with an injury like that, Bo walked on his ankle and ran 2 more plays and then walked after after it was all over. So what does a break like this look like?
Well, I don't have the specifics of the x-ray, but I suspect based on what I've heard is that he probably broke the fibula, which is the small bone on the outside. And as a result, when the bone broke, it moves alignment. And as a result of that, the ankle isn't in anatomic alignment. And that's why he's going to require surgery to fix it, to put the bone back and keep it there while it heals.
Okay, so we obviously know he can't play this weekend or in 2 weeks, but what's the recovery like for an athlete with a broken ankle? Especially, I always think it's fascinating. The tiniest bone, is such an important part of our whole body. So how could this impact him potentially in the future?
I mean, immediately it hurts to break a bone, obviously. And initially he was able to walk around, but then once the swelling and the bleeding and things do what they do, it becomes much more symptomatic. Long term, I think he'll be fine. I think it's a very common injury. We fix these all of the time, and they do very well. He's young and healthy, and he's a professional athlete with training. I would suspect that after a couple months, he'll be back out there, and then by off-season workouts and all that prep, he'll be good to go.
Okay, well, that's a good news for Broncos country to hear that. So, Dr. Fine, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, we don't need you back to talk about any more injuries coming our way.
Okay, so that explains, Cousin Todd, what happened to the Denver Broncos.
Would he be considered a quack?
Oh, like Stephen called your sister your sister's a board certified medical doctor from an American medical school, and Stephen called your sister a quack. So you're asking, Stephen is calling this doctor we just saw a quack?
Yeah.
No, I don't call him a quack. Nothing he said I could disagree with, but a lot of stuff your sister said I could disagree with. And I'm not the first person to ever call a doctor a quack. I don't know what other word you call somebody you have a disagreement with. And only thing she did was go by what other people told her, what other people wrote that she read. And what she read that they wrote was a bunch of garbage. That don't necessarily make her a quack. It makes the knowledge that she has makes her screwed up, and it makes everybody screwed up because it wasn't true. What they told these doctors, it doesn't make her a quack. I'm not putting her down as a doctor. I'm saying, and she's not a quack. What it actually is, she didn't have the right information. She was given wrong information. That's different than her being a quack. She's probably excellent at what she does.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Aguna,
Thanks for letting me clear that up, Stacey. I appreciate
thank you.
you.
Can you talk to us
You
about
didn't
the
clear
AFC,
it up.
I just did.
NFC? Aguna?
Children. Oh, go ahead.
Can you talk about the AFC, NFC, Aguna, please?
Yeah. So the NFC is going to be a lot more competitive than the AFC, in my opinion, because I think even though New England drafted Stedman, even though New England drafted him, I just don't think the stage that he's going to be able to compete. Now, again, it's in Denver, so they have the home field advantage, but I just don't see a backup coming in at this point. It would be different if he had a couple of games to get acclimated with the offense and then going into this. But to come off such an emotional win and then have to play New England, who's really hot right now. They got Drake May playing at a high level. They got a really good defense in New England as well. And make no mistake, there was some inconsistency with Bo Nix running this offense, right? So even though Sean Payton is a good coach, having Stedman come in there and run the same offense, and he's not as mobile as Bo Nix. He can't improvise, and Bo Nix was having some consistency issues. Buffalo, who doesn't have the greatest defense, was giving him some problems, right? They put up about 33 points again, but New England has a much better defense. They're very well coached. Drake May's playing at a high level, and I just don't think that, given the environment, that they're going to be able to overcome it. I agree with Steven. I think if Josh Allen it would have been great to have New England versus
Buffalo
versus Bills in Foxborough or whatever for the championship game. That would have been a lot more intriguing than this Denver game, but we'll see. I've seen other things happen, and it's going to be an interesting storyline regardless, because again, Stedman was drafted by New England before he went over to Denver, so maybe that's the hook there. On the other side, I don't know if Seattle's going to have a walk in the park against the Rams, and I say that because Sam Darnold and what we've seen with Sam Darnold in the playoffs in the past, and also the Rams have a very good defense. Jared Verse and those guys are going to get after him. Kobe Durant, who is from South Carolina State, that corner had a great game against Caleb Williams. He had 2 interceptions. So you're going to get a little bit more of that. And San Francisco really didn't get after Donald like that. They really didn't challenge him. It really wasn't even, so against a good defense. And again, Matthew Stafford versus Donald, this is going to be like the battle of the statue quarterbacks. So it's going to contingent a lot on the receiving core. And I saw Puka go up to Chicago in the cold and make Puka plays. And I also saw, Devontae Adams go off as well. So I think it's going to be a really good game, seeing that offense against the Seattle defense. That's where the money game is on the NFC side of the ball. New England's going to the Super Bowl. I don't think it's going to be as close as we think it is if they get some points on the board. But I think the Rams and Sean McVay may be able to go up to Seattle and squeak one out. I mean, they've been talking about that all year. I think it's going to be a rematch Super Bowl between the Patriots and the Rams. But it's funny because no matter who New England plays, we would have played them in the Super Bowl before. So it's going to be interesting. You either have the Marshawn Lynch rematch game, or you're going to have the game where New England beat the Rams.
So I must say that, I have been listening to Tom. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady, and that was only because he would not shake my Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Nick Foles' hand after Nick Foles came in there as the backup quarterback and won the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom Brady wouldn't shake his hand, and then I wasn't a fan. However, I've been listening to Tom Brady as a color commentator on these games, and I must say he's very, very good and very informative. So I have enjoyed him with that. My picks for the AFC and the NFC championship games is definitely going to be the New England Patriots for the AFC, and it's going to be the Seattle Seahawks for the NFC. Steven.
Just watch out for I just want to add this. Garoppolo for Stafford is on standby right now. I don't know what's wrong with Stafford, but he's listed as somebody who's a possibility of playing that game. Yeah, and another thing is on Denver real quick. with a backup quarterback, like you just said with Philly, a backup quarterback can come in and win. And Bo Nix wasn't that good this year, and he was particularly not great in that game either. So you never know. But I'm gonna take New England straight up, but it's gonna be tough, and that's a high spread, 5.5. I might have to take Denver with 5.5, but the over under is 40, and there's two great defenses. Both of these defenses are great. It might be a 14-12 game or something like that. You just don't know, but that's gonna be a great game. And the other game, I've got to take Seattle. I'm gonna lay the 2.5. No problem. If it was 3.5, I would do that as well. I know Frisco's great. I know they're great, but Seattle's at home. They haven't played particularly great at home, but they're at home. They're fired up. They're ready to go, and they got it. I think they got the chip right now that they need to take them to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl is what I think. But you also got to watch too that so many people feel the way I do. NFL doesn't particularly like that, so be cautious on that too. So the Rams could win this game. Depends on who wants them to win it.
Cousin Todd, who do you pick for the AFC and the NFC if you even know the difference?
For ABC, I'm going to take Chicago if they would get Randall Cunningham. Other than that, I'm going to take Refrigerator Perry and the Devils.
Okay.
America
Work
first.
so hard, Todd. For all that you do. You're so amazing. You're amazing, Todd.
Thank you.
They don't teach that in school.
All right, I'm going to share this, and we're going to look at Indiana win.
We're supposed to be hearing something?
No, Stacey's half crazy.
What?
What's going on here?
What?
Are we hearing something or not?
You don't hear it?
No, we don't hear it, Cray Cray.
Yeah, cray cray.
All right. Here we are back at the Gong Show.
It's still playing, so obviously we're having technical difficulty.
All right.
I heard the whole thing. The whole thing was playing. You all heard nothing?
Nope.
Moving on.
Okay. So Indiana beat Miami. Mendoza was the quarterback who was a Heisman Trophy winner, and his home, he grew up rooting for the Miami Hurricanes, and he played against them and beat them in their own stadium. And the Hoosier Indiana fans came out for them really big. Anyone want to comment before we move on to politics?
I will, I guess. I think Mandisi is really going to be a big hit. What? Well, I don't understand the laughter. I think he's going to be a big hit.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
That being said, this was a historic victory. I didn't have a skin in the game. I just wanted a good football game. But it kind of shows old college football versus new college football. Old college football, you recruit 18-year-olds to come in, 5-star recruits, and come in. You have 5-star recruits on top of 5-star recruits. You got 5-star recruits that won't see the field for 5 years. And you have a big power program, and you just wallop all teams. Indiana has very quickly, in the last 2 years, won a national title in college football, which is kind of unheard of. I mean, there's a lot of parity in the NFL, so we're used to that. But at the college level, it takes years to recruit the right people. But with the portal and how you have these older players, I mean, some of the players were like 5 years older than some of the guys on Miami that were out there playing. But that being said, they competed and they won this game, and it was just historic. I think Yale was the last team to go undefeated and win the title. So it's one of those things where, you know, it gives college football hope and parity, which wasn't really that way before the playoffs and before the portal opened up. And then also, if you look at the SEC, there were no SEC teams in the final.
That's crazy.
And that is all. I mean, it's like, and we had a competitive final. Now, it doesn't mean there weren't any SEC teams in the playoffs. You had a lot of teams in the playoffs, but it was just, it's kind of showing the changing of the guard in the college football level. So congratulations to Indiana. I think it was a great game. And Mendoza, man, you got me saying all that, Todd. But anyway, great quarterback. He probably will be number one in the draft. Did a heck of a job he rose to the moment when it was offered to him.
And we know Cleveland needs a quarterback, right? We know
no,
Cleveland.
He's going to go to the Raiders.
He's probably going to go to the Raiders.
Raiders.
And that may work out because of that market. But it just, I did feel that Miami players were a little bit undisciplined. And I mean, they were trying to bully Indiana a little bit. And you saw that with the penalties and all this other stuff. And Indiana kind of played football. Yeah. So, and thank God we didn't have to see Michael Irvin take his shirt off and hit the dang water cooler with the belt and all that stuff. And so it was, to say the least, calm. But Miami lost in Miami. Again, this playoff championship was in Miami. So it would have been historic on the other side too had they rose up. And it was a competitive game. I think if that punt didn't happen, I think we would have been talking a little bit differently right now because Miami was running the ball.
They could have won. Miami could have won.
Yeah.
Well, I had Miami with the points, so I was happy. But that quarterback with him, Mendoza, he is a beast. He took a hit to his face, busted his lip up. They didn't even care about. They didn't call it on him. I don't know why. The referee was right here. I don't know if y'all saw that, but I mean, it busted his mouth wide open. And but he was tough, and he got a touchdown late in the game. He ran like Gale Sayers. I wish Keith was here because I heard him mention Gale Sayers earlier. It looked like Gale Sayers running through there. He was busting people, busting in between them, going this way, jerking. And this guy, like a really tall dude, and he even had to use his hands, spin around, and get past a few more people. If you haven't seen that play, you got to see it when he runs in that touchdown. It was beautiful. It was wonderful. So whoever gets him, I guess I'm sure Las Vegas has the first one, unless they throw it away. Nobody's going to want to skip on this kid, I don't think. It's a shame he's got to go to a bad team. Maybe they'll get rid of him. So I don't know what's going to happen. They get other people around him, but Vegas ain't got nobody hardly to throw to, just a tight end. But he's amazing. He's going to be somebody. He's going to be somebody right there because he looks like he can do it all, and he's just there's no stopping him. There's no different kind of kid.
I like his mouth, and his mouth blew open like Steven was saying.
It did. It looked like something from a movie.
These things happen on the ice when these guys take the ice.
You played for 17 years or 16, 17 years, didn't you, Todd? I don't know how you kept all your teeth.
All right, thank you. Tell me if you can hear this.
America's closest allies are warning of a rupture between Washington and European nations. How serious is this rupture? What are we seeing play out in terms of what European nations are considering? What sort of levers they've got to pull?
Well, becoming increasingly serious, Bridget. We're not quite there yet to a trade war between the United States and the European Union, and we're not there yet in terms of the end of the NATO alliance, but certainly the trajectory is very bad. Overnight, the European leaders and the Canadian Prime Minister have hit back hard. Emmanuel Macron from France has said that we prefer respect to bullies, using that word, and Donald Trump saying earlier that he doesn't really care what Emmanuel Macron says because he's finishing up anyway. And Mark Carney saying from Canada, we're in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Let's have a listen to what those two leaders said overnight.
We need more stability in this world, but we do prefer respect to bullies. We do prefer science to plotism, and we do prefer rule of law to brutality.
Let me be direct. We are in the midst of a rupture, not a transition. Great powers have begun using economic integration as weapons. Tariffs as leverage, financial infrastructure as coercion, supply chains as vulnerabilities to be exploited.
So, Bridget, we're not at crisis point yet, and they may come back from the brink, all of these leaders, but certainly with President Trump flying off to Davos, to the Economic Forum tonight, then this is all going to come to a head by this time tomorrow. So we'll have a clearer idea tomorrow what this all means.
Okay. Todd, I wanted to let me play this one, and then I'm going to play this, and then we'll start talking. Let me know if you cannot hear it. Thank you.
Governor Newsom, do you have a message for Europeans who are concerned about the messages from the White House around Greenland this week?
Yeah, it's time to buck up. It's time to get serious and stop being. It's time to stand tall and firm, have a backbone. It's I've seen this in the United States, the supine Congress playing both sides, saying one thing on a text or a tweet, another publicly. It's time to have principle. It's time to stand tall and strong. It's time to stand united. You make that determination. I don't make that determination.
When you say stand
collectively, I can't take this complicity. People rolling over. I should have brought a bunch of knee pads for all the world leaders. I mean, handing out crowns and this is pathetic. Nobel Prizes that are being given away. I mean, it's just pathetic. And I hope people understand how pathetic they look on the world stage. I mean, at least from an American perspective, it's embarrassing. This guy's playing folks for fools, and it's embarrassing.
Europeans think this is diplomacy, and this will ultimately
this is
work.
Diplomacy with Donald Trump? He's a T-Rex. You mate with him or he devours you. One or the other. And people need to stand. No, the Europeans could be if they continue down this path and process. They need to stand tall, stand firm, stand united. Look, this a year ago we should have been having this conversation, and they didn't. Okay, and now you're paying the price. Exactly what anyone objective observer would have anticipated we'd be where we are today.
I'm being crystal clear. I'm being crystal clear. But what's your advice? I leave that to others to decide. Would you like to?
All right, Aguna, since you're laughing, I wanted to this time kind of focus. All right, so let's start this conversation off in a sane manner. Let's look at this instead of emotionally, Stephen. Let's look at this from a perspective of what this means to everyday Americans and how losing a relationship with NATO and the European Union will truly affect everyday Americans. Let's start with Aguna, then Stephen, then Cousin Todd.
I mean, there's a long answer and the short answer. I'm going to try to do the short answer because I don't want to hear Todd's mouth. All right. So how it's going to affect everyday Americans is really going to be based on some of the back and forth, right? So like the tariff threats and things like that. There may be some type of trade war. So that may have a trickle down effect to the kitchen table. But reputational wise, you may see some retaliatory actions from the European Union in the form of taking away visas. So you can't go to Europe for vacation. You may start doing imports of American goods and things like that, which will impact our jobs and things like that. And it's just from a reputation standpoint, you don't want to necessarily go to war with your allies. I mean, these are usually trade partners. Usually American companies benefit from good relations with NATO and the European Union. And if you're trying to use tariffs and things like that as leverage, you're going to see, I think we talked about this on the show before, a different supply chain, meaning it's not going to be, hey, we need America. Once you find out that you don't need America from a supply chain standpoint, you're going to see other trade partners. You're going to see countries starting to bond together and circumvent America. Even though they want the American dollar, they may try to figure out ways to get around it if this administration keeps on using that as leverage. So we got to be careful in that regards. But overall, from a reputation standpoint, it's not a good look. Now, I don't know what the situation is going to be with Russia and how that's going to play out, because seems like there's some proxy stuff going on there. But overall, it becomes a big distraction because you're not focused on American first issues. You're not focused on domestic things. You're not focused on the things that we kind of expected from this administration going into this thing. We didn't want to be the bully on the block. We wanted to be the shining beacon on the hill to which everyone wants to be like, right? Not necessarily going into a Greenland and things like that. But again, it's all about money. So again, the art of the deal, this is what we This is what America voted for.
Nonsense.
We elected Donald Trump.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
Well, like Arguna said, it's the distraction is the main word right here. Everything's going to be handled behind closed doors. Whatever the public sees is what they want us to see. And a lot of it is for dramatic effect. A lot of it is a show. A lot of it is they're acting, and this one's mad at this, and we're going to do this. I think basically everybody has enough sense, like the nuclear war thing. Everybody's got nukes, and nobody wants to do anything. So try to work together. I think that's what they're going to do. And how it affects us, who knows how it's going to affect us. However, they determine it's going to affect us. The things they do, the things, whatever. Hopefully, they have some good feelings for the people around the world, and they want everybody to have a good life, and they'll be better to us than they have been in the past. You know, make it so everybody can get a little bit more than what they have right now that need it. Maybe they could do that. Maybe instead of taking more for themselves, is what all of this is about. Maybe they could give a little bit back to this littlest people just to show a little bit of appreciation.
Who are you talking about?
The world powers. The people who control the world. They're taking all of our money, all of our taxes. They're taking it. They're taking all of that, and they're using it for how they want to use it for themselves. Maybe they could just give us a little bit of crumbs more than we ever had. Maybe we can all have a little bit of life for a little bit longer before the robots take over, and maybe we can just all enjoy our lives more. You know, until the end. You know, that's all I'm saying. But maybe there's all of what they're doing. Maybe they can just think about the people all over the world, and maybe. But you know, that's just wishful thinking. But it is a nice thought.
Cousin Todd.
Thanks, Dave.
Okay, Stephen, what you just said was completely crazy.
Because you don't understand common logic and decency.
The world does not control our money. You see, we have a president who, when you pay taxes, he's not going to say, "Oh, I'm going to give you some money back." Macron can't say, "I'm going to give Americans some money."
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You're saying.
I'm saying the collective world power that runs this world needs to throw the money back at some people. You know, at the people, the population.
People,
you know, let us have a little party for a year. You know,
it works.
I know that's not how it works, and they just take all the money for themselves. And I'm saying maybe they could just have a little pity on us. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not complicated.
I want to move on because all you did was just babble nonsense. Now, why is Donald Trump? Why is Donald Trump forcing his hand in Greenland? Why? Now, everybody knows all Trump would have to do is say, "Listen, I need this, that, and the other from Greenland, and I'm willing to pay this, that, and the other." And they would jump at the chance to give it to him. But for him to do this, "Oh, I'm going to take it, and we're going to," why is he doing that? We've always been friends with them, and they would give us anything we wanted. And so for him to book up like this is like somebody said, it's a show, number one. And what it's doing is causing the world to hate America. And what's going to happen is the world will never trust America again because they realize that Americans are stupid. And they will elect all kinds of crazy people because they elected this guy twice. You figure in 4 years, he can't ruin everything. He can't ruin it in 4 years. No president can. But 8 years, he can. No. And this is what he's doing now. Stephen didn't know he was going to do this when he voted for him.
No, he lied.
Stephen knew it.
He knew.
He lied. He lied.
No. Wow, a politician lied. Are you kidding me?
Stephen, we told you this was going to happen.
Of course.
What was going to happen?
And he
said he was going to take over Greenland. He's going to take over the world.
Stephen said
that he was going to take over Venezuela. He was going to remove the leader from Venezuela.
Shut up.
Is that what he told me?
He told you he was going to do that.
He told me he was going to remove the leader of Venezuela and take the country over. Is that what he told me? I don't remember that. I don't think I would have voted for him. I don't think I would have voted for him if he said that.
Where did he say? Where did he say? He said we were being invaded. He said we were being invaded by the southern border, and then predominantly the people on the southern border were coming from Venezuela. He said they were dropping.
He didn't say predominantly people were coming from Venezuela. No, the That's impossible.
He said it was an invasion. If you're
No,
being
he
invaded,
didn't take the predominant amount of people that come from Venezuela when you have Mexico right there. You don't have more people from Venezuela or any other country coming through there. That's not math ain't adding up.
Steven,
you're being selective memory.
I'm not being selective. You're saying that we got more people from Venezuela. He didn't. Nobody
we were being invaded. Did he say we were being invaded?
Of course we were being invaded. I want him to shut the border.
So how do you react
But that has nothing to do with Venezuela, Aguna. That's not, oh, he's going to take over Venezuela now. We got invaded.
Let me finish.
All right.
So we're being invaded. He said we were being invaded through our southern border.
Yes.
And many of the people, theory was that China was dropping people off in Venezuela and infiltrating our southern border. That was part. And I don't know about you, but if you're being invaded, aren't you at war?
But if they have to go to Venezuela, then they have to go through Mexico to get here.
That's what they said they were doing.
Right. So what's the difference? Does it make how people get here? They didn't send Venezuelans over here.
Again, this is what he said in the campaign.
Did Donald Trump say he was going to take over Venezuela and run that country? No, he didn't. No, he did not say that. So that's why I'm mad at him.
Let me play this.
That's why I'm upset.
Let me play this.
That's one reason I'm upset.
Let me play this. Excuse me. Can I play this? Thank you. Assistance for low-income families and a rollback of clean energy tax credits adopted by former President Biden. Also, the massive legislative package features tax cuts, energy production, and immigration crackdown. How can they feature an immigration crackdown when they're letting in South Africans?
What, they let in 50, Stacey? I know they're white, but they're all right. Right. They let in 50 people. The group that y'all support let in about 20 million people unvetted into this country. You got a problem with 50 white people? Give me a break.
Medicaid cuts,
That's a good point. That's a good point. Medicaid cuts. There's about 1 million illegals on Medicaid right now. What they do is cut the fat, cut those people off. They don't deserve our Medicaid. Everything that they've done, everything the last administration does hurts Medicaid. What they're trying to do now is save Medicaid. By cutting all the crap out of it. That's what they're trying to do. Right. They're not cutting people's bid. They're not trying to hurt anybody. They're trying to help Americans. What this administration is doing is helping Americans and not helping people that came here illegally in the last 4 years and before that. Right. I mean, what did he do? Stupid. And let me say this: since you played that, Stacey, in Trump's first 4 years, he had wait a minute, I'm having a brain problem.
That's okay. Take your time, Cray.
Wait a minute. He said he had to build a wall. Donald Trump said he had to build a wall to keep everybody out. So he didn't. He built a little bit of the wall. The next administration took a lot of the wall out of there. And then Donald Trump got reelected. And in 15 minutes, let me talk. You're going to like this. In 15 minutes, he closed the border. Now, tell me why he needed a wall to close a border. None of that makes sense. Have y'all thought about this? I think about this. This is why I'm the critical thinker here. Why did we need a wall? Why did Trump need to build a wall? He was lying the whole time about that. Donald Trump just doesn't seem to be a good guy. I've researched him heavily. I couldn't find anything on him. You know why? Everything's been wiped on him. That's the only reason I can't find crap on him. You can find anything on anybody. I can find stuff on Aguna. He ain't even done yet. But I can't find nothing on Donald Trump because he's all been wiped out. Now, tell me, do y'all agree? Why does he need a wall when he didn't need a wall? He closed the border without a wall.
Okay, let me play this, please. Let's look at what's happening.
You're the only one who's been had. We knew.
This is the moment.
I mean, if you don't believe him, how do you know he closed the border then?
His home in St. Paul, Minnesota. Officers broke down his door, handcuffed him, and dragged him into the snow wearing just shorts and sandals.
Steven, look at this.
Tao, who goes by the name Scott, was returned home later on Sunday without explanation or apology. He spoke to Reuters, recounting the fear and shame he felt.
My daughter-in-law came to the room and said, "Dad, there's an ice out there." I said, "Okay, just don't open the door." So I locked my bedroom, and then Sunday they break in. They just came to the room and knocking the door. So I just said, "Okay, just open the door, see what they want." And then Sunday there's guns pointing at us. I like, whoa. And they said, And then they go, "You come out here." I go, "Okay." And then I came out there with my hand up, and then just put my hand on my back. So I did, and then suddenly they just handcuffed me.
Tao said he tried presenting his ID.
They didn't ask for my ID or anything until after they handcuffed me, and
He
then
has no clothes on.
they asked me, "Do I have my ID?" I go, "Yeah, is in the room." And then my daughter-in-law, she tried to get my ID, but they didn't want to see it no more. Yeah, they just took me out there with no clothes on, and then just covered with my grandson's blanket. So yeah, they just took me out there, and I was like, man, this is embarrassing.
Tao said his parents brought him from Laos to the United States in 1974, and he became a U.S. citizen in 1991. After officers photographed him and took his fingerprints, he was returned home. In a statement, the Department of Homeland Security said officers were investigating 2 convicted sex offenders at the address.
Can you
Spokeswoman
imagine?
Tricia McLaughlin said a U.S. citizen living there refused to be fingerprinted or be facially identified, and that he matched the description of an offender. She added that it's standard protocol to hold all individuals from a house involved in an operation for the safety of the public and law enforcement. Tao's son, Chris, says what happened makes him wonder if America is still a good place to be.
If this is America, if this America is what it looks like, why were we here? What are we doing here?
Okay, so what are we doing here? Let's start with Keith. Keith, what are we doing here according to that? If this is America, as he said, and they treat you like that, and you're a U.S. citizen, he's a U.S. citizen,
Right.
What are we doing here?
And let's delve into the lies that were told after he was fingerprinted and taken away in underwear. I don't want to skip over that. And then, there was 6 offenders in that house. See how they come up with this craziness?
So go ahead, Todd. That wasn't for you. That was for Keith.
I know, but I wanted him to comment on all of that.
He's not going to do that. He's going to say whatever he wants to say. You wasted your breath. Go ahead, Keith.
It's the cost of freedom, Todd.
We can't hear you.
Dang, man, that's profound. That's the most sense I've ever heard Keith make.
You're breaking up. Let's see. If I put everybody else on mute, let's see if that helps. Try now, Keith.
How about now? Can you guys hear me? Okay. I was so busy crying and in tears, I just can hardly respond. Oh, poor thing. Poor thing. Poor thing. Poor thing. That's all I can say.
Okay, why were you crying and in tears?
Poor thing. I mean, how sad it is, you come into the country illegally, and then you expect that you call this America. America has laws, just like other countries. You can't do that in any other country. You come here illegally and expect to be catered to and just allowed to stay here against our laws, and then you complain. Oh, poor thing. That's all I have to say about it.
Did he come here illegally though?
No.
So I mean, I don't understand Keith's point. You're assuming because he was
from Laos
Oriental or from Laos that he came here illegally. No, they did not know. They did not have probable cause. We're a country of laws and due process. So on one hand, you're saying you got to follow our laws, but then when the people enforcing the laws aren't following the laws, who holds them accountable? So don't just assume that they went in there. Again, law enforcement, I'm all for enforcing the law, but you got to do it in the right way that you're not victimizing the citizens. You wouldn't like if someone kicked in your door right now and came in there and drove you out. And what would you say? I'm an American citizen. You can't come in here and do all that. But no, we have probable cause to believe that you're from Nigeria, Keith, and we're taking your ass back to Africa. Oh, you wouldn't like that. However, and then me and Stephen would be on here. Well, he was an illegal alien anyway. He shouldn't have been here anyway. We're just assuming because ICE went in there that you are guilty. And that's again, we can't sit here and enforce democracy overseas and all these other things, and now all of a sudden we're backtracking. So you as a conservative, Keith, are now saying that, hey, let's follow the laws, but the laws are only good enough if I trust the administration that's doing the laws. Now, I mean, that's not the Constitution, Keith. That's just basically you're going for the winning team in your head.
Okay, thank you. Cousin Todd.
He's not white, so who cares? And boo-hoo, boo-hoo. He came over here illegal. So, and I'm glad Guna said that about taking him back to Africa, because the Supreme Court said about Keith that he had no rights and he was not allowed citizenship in the United States because he was no better than luggage. So, for them to do this man that way, and they don't care at all, and Trump loves it. You see? And there was a time Two-Face Stephen loved it. But now all of a sudden he's going to say, he's wrong. Donald Trump is wrong. All of a sudden I got an epiphany. We knew many years ago that Trump was a con artist, a carnival barker, 3-card Molly. And so we've been telling you this. No, Trump is a God-fearing, Christian-loving man.
I was a never Trumper before you were.
Out of my face.
You're not a never Trumper. You're just a Democrat.
You're a two-faced con artist.
I was a never Trumper as a conservative.
I don't care what you are.
So I beat you. I beat you. I win.
And now all of a sudden, Todd, you were right. Everything you said.
I never said you were right about anything, Todd. You're just one-sided. That's all you are.
I'll tell you what you said I was right about.
You'll do whatever you can to make your side win.
Remember we talked about the Jews and we said about giving money to the Jews and how I said they should stop killing these Arabs.
Well, what do we have to go? Why do we got to look back right now? We have topics to talk about today, Todd.
Let's move on to this topic. Listen to this.
Just said I didn't agree with anything you said, and now he switches it.
I agree with some things you say. It would be impossible to disagree. You told me the sky was blue.
All right, thank you. I got to move on. We're out of time. Please listen to this.
That's in my point of view, is that there is a limit on how many things you can put on the table without, and eventually one day, one of them going out of control, and then eventually creating the kind of volatility you see now right now in financial markets.
And do you think it's going to get better or worse, this volatility?
I don't see any path of normalization in the near future.
And when you say path of normalization,
path of normalization of lower volatility and more stability. So, we need to resolve some issues. I mean, until we see the resolution of, trade tensions or tariff tensions or the topic about Greenland, Ukraine, you name it.
All of it.
Okay, let's start our roundtable. We're out of time with, Keith's not here. Let's start it with Stephen, then Aguna, and then Cousin Todd. Stephen, are you on here twice? Is that what I see? Can I get rid of that second thing up there?
Twice is nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I had to call back.
Oh, okay.
So no I guess I'm on it twice. If you do whatever you wish.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Keith.
Where's Keith?
I mean, Stephen.
That's twice, man.
Stephen.
That's twice now, Stacey.
Well, you all look alike, number one. Number two, you were lovers. I mean, you were best friends. So
sorry about that, Stephen.
Another thing Trump said, he wouldn't let the Chinese spy balloon come across the country the way Joe retarded Biden did, but he's going to let 600,000 Chinese come to our schools, let them come in and then give them the jobs after they have their college degrees. And people from India, he's bringing about 1 million of them in to start the jobs right now because it's America first, right, Donald Trump? No, Todd, he changed. I didn't. My ideals, my ideal how things should be never changed. I never wavered. I'm not a two-faced. That man said he was going to do A, B, C, and D. He ain't done none of these. That's why I can't support him. Now, you've never liked him because you're a Democrat. You're not going to support him.
I
didn't support him from the beginning because I didn't think he was a good guy, but he looked like he was going to be okay. He was doing some things he said he was going to do. He was producing what he said he was going to do. Things were good, but now, no thank you. I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. And he's put on split. All right, what is this? What are we going through? What we're going talking about the boss or Greenland? What are you talking about, Greenland or the North Pole?
No, I wanted you to talk about, we were talking about the economy, and the CEO of the UBS company said until the economy is going to remain volatile
for years because of him.
Sort of resolution for tariffs.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be volatile anyway. Tariffs, no tariffs, Donald Trump's in there. It's going to be volatile. Everything's absolutely insane, and nobody can predict what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. Nobody really. I mean, it's crazy as it's ever been, I think, right now.
Trump is crazy.
That's a huge part of it, and he can control the world. Everything's funky. It's really funky right now. What's going on? It's absolutely bizarre. It's the craziest time I've ever seen in my life. I've been involved in this stuff for a long time, but it is absolutely crazy. Yeah, Trump is a huge part of it, but there's other people that are a huge part of it as well. It's not just Trump, and it's not just George Soros giving money to the Democrats. You know, everybody wants to put it on one person. There's a lot of people involved that I'm not going to play on the show tonight because I think everybody knows.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, I mean, it's everybody just live the best life you can, be good to each other. And love each other, because that's all we have. All we have is each other. Don't depend on these governments. Don't depend on these people to help you out. We're all we're all together, but we're all on.
I told you that when you voted for him.
Thank you.
I ain't gonna vote for him again.
It's interesting, the whole 180 that Stephen is doing.
Amazing.
And I continue to argue he's doing exactly what you asked him to do. You may not.
He's doing some things. He's doing some things, but not everything.
He's doing
90%. 90% of what he's doing, I didn't think he would do. I didn't about 75%. I didn't think he did.
Okay, Abuna, don't bring in anybody else on your round.
Wait a minute. He closed the border. That's something I agree with. I'm not saying don't agree with everything he did, right? But I didn't think he was going to blow up boats. I didn't think he was going to do all the bad stuff.
But that's part of it. It's all part of it.
No, it's not. He never said I'm going to blow ships out of the water, drug boats.
He's creating a puppet state. He's a law and order guy. Did you listen to his speech where he rambled for 2 hours?
He just let a guy off that had 8 years for methamphetamines and a gun because he was a Republican's governor paid him to get. You think he cares about drugs in this world?
You had your time. Can I finish?
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
So what he said today, he said he stopped 97% of the drugs coming into U.S. by water. All right. He said he's a law and order president. He said he sent all these deplorable people back to wherever they came from, and he's doing a great job. He's doing a victory lap. He did a 2-hour victory lap today where he said that he did everything he said he was going to do. And people like Stephen voted for this. People like Keith voted for this. Keith is okay because as long as he feels that Trump is sticking it to the liberals, it's good. It doesn't matter if it's conservative, constitutional, anything like that. He doesn't care about that. He just feels that he's a vibes thing. Right? And it's interesting because people like Keith and Stephen, Trump is adopting some democratic principles with all this. But Democrats, tariffs, that's not something that conservatives or Republicans typically approve of. But he's using the tariffs as leverage for some reason on these with all these countries and things like that. But the interesting thing about these tariffs, which is happening, is companies aren't necessarily passing that down to the consumer right now. Will they? Probably, because they're only going to have patience for so long. But what you're seeing is they're no longer hiring people. They're just absorbing the tariffs. And some of the tariffs may have to go back to the companies because they're deemed unconstitutional. So we'll have to see how this plays out in the first quarter. But you're starting to see in the beginning of 2026 how skittish the markets really are. And going into this next quarter, I mean, this first and second quarter of 2026, if you don't pull back on some of these policies and get some more stability in the market, you're going to be heading into a recession. You can't BS the markets for so long before Wall Street reacts. And what you're seeing even today with all this Greenland talk and all the tariffs and all that stuff, they're starting to pull back on some of profits
you.
because they want to position themselves for 2026 in a positive way. So
Thank you, Cousin Todd.
Yeah, Donald Trump said all kinds of things that he was going to do. Like, he said, hey, listen, cops, don't be so nice to these guys when you arrest them. You slam them in the head.
That was in 2015. He said that.
Exactly. He never changed, dummy. This is what I'm telling you.
Why are we talking about Trump still? Are you obsessed with Trump?
Look at this idiot. Look at this
Are you
idiot.
obsessed with Trump?
This is the crazy person flip-flopper.
That's not part of it. That's not the
Whenever
topic.
you give him any facts, that was then. This is now. He voted for Trump. And Trump is the same person he was when he said the black guys in New York, what were they called? The something five? They should get the electric chair, he said. They were innocent. He didn't care. So what? He's the same person who they filed a lawsuit against him and his father because they wouldn't rent to black people in New York. They had 7,000 apartments, and all total, they put 7 blacks in them. And that's because they were forced to. So he's the same.
Okay, thank you.
And then Stephen said, I thought he was going to do something bad to black people. That's why I didn't vote for him. He's the same person.
Thank you.
It sounded like a perfect,
Keith, did you want to say something?
nice percentage of blacks to whites.
Got back on. I just got back on. What's the question?
Okay, it's a roundtable discussion. Just say 5 seconds of your closing.
Well, my closing is that no matter what we're saying, no matter what you say against Trump, all it does is make him stronger. And he's going to keep doing what he's doing, and I'm glad of it.
He's
I'm
losing
happy.
support left and right.
I got what I voted for.
Stephen just dumped him.
Okay, thank you. We are out of time. To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do in sacrificing your lives so that we are all free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker.
Is that my gray hat?
Yes.
Surprise.
I'm in the house with you.
And my cousin Todd. I'm Stacey Johnson. Let's keep this conversation going. I want to show you where we are on TikTok. Check out our TikTok channel if you can see it. That's Sporlitiks.com, all one word on TikTok. Check out our TikTok channel. It's out on Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitiks. Lights up. Check us out on Twitch at Sporlitiks. Check us out on Instagram and Facebook and at Sporlitiks. Who else are we on? I think that's it. I think we covered everything. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week. I think I'm missing something. What am I missing?
I think you got it.
No, I got it. But I'm talking about we've been on Sporlitiks since 2000. Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle, since 2011. We've had our corporation since 2011. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Nice.
Look at
This
Todd's
is what I
beard.
wanted to say to
Beard.
This is what I wanted to say to Stephen. Stephen always tries to change the subject. We're talking about who Trump was, who Trump is. And you say, he lied to me. Oh, he lied. Surprise.
Well, he did things that he said. I mean, everything's changed, and that's what happened. But I wanted to. Did anybody notice? Did anybody notice that I kept standing up and sitting down the whole show? Did anybody notice? Was it a distraction?
Why?
I recently had a hernia operation, and I can't find anything that's comfortable. So I can only sit down for a minute, stand up for a minute. But I was going to do the show.
Did you have a hernia operation? You didn't tell us. You didn't have to come on the show in pain.
Oh no, the show must come on, and usually the show brings some pain to me, so I'm used to it either way.
When you're
I
60,
told you, Stephen is tough.
that.
Stephen
Tough
is
as
a
nails.
mountain man. Stephen's a
I'm
mountain
sorry,
tough
Stephen.
dude.
When did you have this surgery?
I had it on Friday.
I know somebody who had that. Today's Monday.
Yeah,
I know
Tuesday.
somebody who
You
had.
shouldn't be on the show, Stephen. Get
hemorrhoid
off. Go lay
surgery.
down. And
Yeah,
try to
it was one of the lower ones, so that's why it affects me trying to stand up and sit down. But
I'm
yeah, it's
so
okay.
sorry.
But
No, it's all
out,
good. I
right?
had to have it done, so.
And
But I
they
hate not
cut-
being able to lift any weights.
They
That's the
cut
hardest part.
those out, right? And they said
What?
that is extremely painful. They cut those out.
Oh, I don't know what they did with it. I was asleep.
I know, but anyway, they cut those out, and it's very painful. And then you can't get out of the hospital until you have a bowel movement. And
Oh
so,
no! Oh no! I didn't have that. Is that what your friend had?
no, you just
Good
said
Lord, man.
hemorrhoid surgery, right?
No, it wasn't hemorrhoid.
No,
Hernia.
hernia.
Oh,
Yeah, hernia, Todd, not
Good
hemorrhoid.
night. Oh, he's just
Oh
Hey,
wow!
wait, stay,
See, that's what he does on sports,
Hey,
man. That's what he
hey,
does on sports.
Tell
hey
you mine
guys,
is, Todd.
let me say
Same
this.
thing. You slick. You slick, Todd. I like
Let me
that,
say
man. You
this.
slick.
Yeah, let me say this, guys. Nothing about the breaking news. See, nothing we talk about on the show. It seems that we didn't discuss, which I think is most important, more
What?
important than most of the stuff that we talk about on the show. The Golden Dome over the U.S. We need something like that. That would be awesome. Also, the anti-ICE mob that disrupted a church service on Sunday. Is that an
Yeah,
exercise
that
of
was
the First Amendment?
horrible.
Also, the
Here's the thing.
anti-ICE
That was
and the
horrible. We should have talked
anti-ICE
about that on the show.
and the
The
anti-ICE
Golden
in the
Dome. What is the
community.
Golden Dome? What
We
is the
don't need a golden dome.
We need a Golden Dome. And
It's
then
like
the
what they have. It's
anti-ICE.
like what they have in Israel.
Yeah,
Keep the bombs
it's
off us.
it's better.
But ain't
It's
nobody
better.
gonna bomb us.
It sounds like, so Keith, you remember the 80s, you remember Star Wars, where we said we needed to put together this Star Wars program, and it was Reagan's way of getting the Soviets to spin their way out of the Cold War. And again, the technology is just not there, right? The U.S. is not Israel. The U.S. is like 1,000 times the size of Israel. So it makes sense if Israel has a golden dome because they're surrounded by people that may bomb them. If we're getting attacked by a China or a Russia who are going to put thousands upon thousands upon thousands of missiles into the air, the only thing that will stop us is mutually assured destruction. If they come after us, we're going to obliterate them. Therefore, they were not going to try us. This golden dome concept is just a money pit. So, no, we don't need that. And as far as the church is concerned, again, protesting, disrupting service, I think it's being used to deploy more troops in Minnesota, which is, again, anytime you're saying government troops overreach, I find issue with that. Yes, they should allow people to protest peacefully, not disrupt the service. Let local law enforcement go in there and handle that. You don't need to send a bunch of more troops down in there. Because again, I saw these protests. They're trying to act like there are a bunch of people running around in the streets. There are like 100 or so cold people in the middle of. They're not these massive protests. Nobody's going out this time of year and protesting. It's too cold, especially in Minnesota. Nobody's going out in minus 10 degrees to hold a sign.
No.
In Minnesota, not too long ago, they had a shooting that was in a church, and to me, that's a horrible way to protest. The people had to be scared to death. That's terrorism. I think the federal government needs to go down there. I think they need to press charges. And Don Lemon was leading the way. How did Don Lemon end up in Minnesota to know this was going? He needs to go to jail for this. Don Lemon needs to go to jail for being there.
Going into a church is worse than
That's
going
what
into
they
a
said
Capitol.
about Martin.
You do, yeah. You got sanctuary. When you go to church, you got sanctuary. You don't go to anybody. You don't go inside anybody's church.
Thank you. Todd, thank you for reminding me.
It was the house of the Lord they were invited in.
They weren't invited in.
Was Monday, day of service.
They went by the gift shop.
Aguna, do you want to honor Martin Luther King Jr. or you want to talk about a gift shop?
I always honor Martin Luther King Jr. every day when I live and breathe.
Yeah, because he was a man of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Isn't that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
That's
the
right.
coldest and the boldest and the first Black Greek fraternity.
And he was a incredible man, and we are so happy to have honored him this past Monday in our country. Finally, anyone else want to make a comment about Martin Luther King Jr.?
Well,
I loved his speeches. I think they were really inspiring. He had great speeches.
Okay, never mind.
A little bit more than.
And he wanted to do things peacefully. What's wrong with peace? All we're saying is give peace a chance.
They called him a communist, and they said he was.
Well, he was everything. He was. Hey, there's good and bad in everybody, I guess. He was a Marxist. Then it was Marxist preaching and stuff, but that's okay. They're bringing Marxism into Christian churches because that's what it was. Yeah, but I'm just saying nobody's perfect. Like Donald Trump got some good qualities.
He wasn't a Marxist. That
absolutely.
That's what people said in order to discredit him.
Yes.
No, everybody's got an opinion, but a lot of people have facts. So let's I ain't gonna argue about it. I'm not that passionate about it.
Yeah, you're talking about Karl Marx. What about Karl Marx and Martin Luther King were the same?
Hey, you remember Mr. Wright, Reverend Wright? Remember Reverend Wright was Obama's?
No, I'm talking about Karl Marx.
It's the same religion. It's the same religion as what Martin Luther King was trying to push. It's like social justice Christianity, and that goes against the teachings of Jesus Christ.
We're talking about Karl Marx. You said he was a Marxist.
I'm not talking about Karl Marx. Put whatever name you want on it. Put any name you want on it. It's Marxist theology. No, I'm not saying he's a Marxist. I'm saying it's Marxist theology is what they were pushing. It's Marxist theology. I'm not saying he's a Marxist, but that's the theology they were pushing, and that's a fact. I don't make this up, man. That's a fact.
All right, thank you. Good night.
They were pushing Marxist theology through Christian churches, and that's what the Reverend Wright was, Marxist theology. Love it or hate it, I'm just spitting facts.
Why are you trying to associate Martin Luther King with Reverend Wright?
Because that's what they were doing. It was an infiltration. This was an infiltration.
You just said because they're black.
I just said
Fox News.
All right, didn't you? Okay, thank you very much. Good
I
night.
love his speeches.
Good night, man.
Nobody's perfect, is what I'm